Hello, welcome to Power Circuit, and today because of the heavy rains which have lashed North India, we are on the top floor of our office trying to bring you what is latest happening in the rains. West Bengal Panchayat Elections are the results are being coming out today, and there is a lot of buzz also over the UCC and that ever elusive cabinet reshuffle or an expansion as we are hearing about it. Me and Pallavi today discuss. Pallavi, पहली बात ये बारिश कब रुकेगी?
I don't know. Frankly speaking, I'm a bit of a spoiler. I'm not very fond of rains, especially for our kind of a work going up. But it's terrible actually. In fact, heart of central Delhi, it is terrible, the kind of waterlogging. But I don't understand this, Aman. Every year they know it's coming, right?
Yeah.
And every year they make those tall promises, but we face the same problem.
बोलते ड्रेन्स क्लीन होंगे, फिर बारिश आ गया, फिर ड्रेन्स वगैरह क्लॉग हो जाते हैं. In fact, but in Delhi we are still safe. What is happening in Uttarakhand and Himachal is really dangerous. So many people have died in these rains. So much property has been
Large
destroyed.
number of tourists have also gone. वो क्यों जाते हैं इस समय? I don't understand.
Yeah, there's no advance warning also ना कि इतना बड़ा बारिश आने वाला. But yeah, some tourists are stuck in many parts of Himachal. Also, we are hearing. Also, I think what we are hearing of certain reports that we've done that this heavy rains are also because of combination of western disturbances and the monsoons combining forces in a way. So this is why such a heaviest rains in like 40 years in Delhi and many other parts of northern India have happened, and obviously it's causing a lot of trouble. And I think the governments need to be better prepared for this. Every year, because especially in the major metros, we've seen not just in Delhi, even in Bombay, in Bangalore, we've seen Gurugram also.
Noida, thankfully, much better. But Gurugram, definitely massive waterlogging, and all that construction is going on at the moment you enter Gurugram. So all of that waterlogging is taking place. I mean, I did travel there yesterday. It was thankfully much better, but that also could be because of the directive which was issued saying that offices should be shut down. Maybe there were lesser cars on the road, which I think was not a bad decision to take.
Yeah, Gurugram is now known as a Samudra of Pani,
Lake City of
NCR.
Yeah,
Delhi NCR. Anyway, so that's on the rains, but also Pallavi is just back from Bengal. She went there for over a week to cover the Panchayat elections whose results are coming in today. The Pallavi, I think TMC should win. That seems the
But as of
initial.
now, yes, definitely. I mean, it's no surprises there, frankly speaking. I mean, we know this. The party which is in power of the state always has that edge. But I'll tell you this much, Aman, I keep going there because that's my home after all. But this time I found people on a short fuse, random road rage, fights taking place. I don't know why I got a sense that there is a restlessness which is happening there. Jobs are a huge issue. And there are people I find young boys and girls, boys more so, unendingly sitting in the afternoon, spending hours doing nothing. And, so it just shows that they don't have jobs. Ideally, that should have been a concern of the state government or for the political parties there. Instead, you find all the energy channelized into, these, this kind of violence or acts of rage and so on and so forth. But don't you think, I mean, whatever is the Panchayat election, whether I'm sure the BJP and the Congress is aware of it, BJP particularly, they're going to use this for 2024.
Absolutely. I think the loss for the BJP in the Panchayat election is also a win for, in a way, a win towards the 2024, because that exactly happened in 2018, if you remember, when TMC won Panchayat election, but there was a lot of violence and BJP used that very effectively for the 2019 Lok Sabha, and we know that they won 18 seats. Now the buzz is that BJP may not be, that is the political wisdom in Lutyens Delhi, that BJP may not be able to perform the same level this time in Bengal and Lok Sabha, but BJP is very confident that this Panchayat election, the violence which has happened, projecting that, as well as the fight between the Congress and the TMC. So where is the larger opposition unity in Bengal?
And the corruption issue. People at the national level vote very differently from the state level.
Absolutely.
People who are actually not just the money bags, but the power behind the Mamata Banerjee factor, Anubrata Mondal, Partha Chatterjee, all of them are behind bars. So they are the ones who work on the ground.
Yeah.
I would want to see the results, for example, in the Birbhum, Bolpur area, because that is where Anubrata Mondal comes in from. Whether they're able to, I guess they will be able to get. But I was noticing this when I went to that area, the posters of the Trinamool Congress still had his picture, which means that TMC knows that they need him. And also the fact that all BJP hoardings, posters of the Congress party were being ripped apart. I saw it in front of me.
Why is your state so violent when it comes to elections?
All the states are violent, even your state is
West
violent.
Bengal, I think,
we
is
are
more
fiery,
violent.
We are aggressive. The
land of Rabindranath Tagore and such violence.
Which reminds me, Anupam Kher's next movie is where he is going to be Rabindranath.
So I think that a point was being made in one of our editorial meetings that there is no other state perhaps as violent in elections. Even West Bengal or even Uttar Pradesh, Bihar have moved on from that violence.
I think you've taken that logic कि हमें UP बिहार को पीछे छोड़ना नहीं है, मतलब उनको पीछे छोड़ना है. So we've gone ahead as far as
violence. So this culture of violence which has
we are very emotional, you see.
Okay. Well, that nothing.
It comes out on the wrong
But
day.
there are unfortunate deaths happening, in Panchayat election,
Yeah.
as I think the BJP, I think very successfully put it, that, in other elections, we count the voting percentage in a day. In Bengal, you're counting the death count during the day. So
Yeah.
clearly, that is
And the
also a
silence of
worry.
Mamata Banerjee. She was not there towards the end. Much of the campaign. You think that was...
Yeah, that was also, I think, and also that is also one point which is very stark. Other point is the lack of criticism by also the National Congress,
Yeah.
towards the violence in West Bengal. So, in a way, people are now asking, is this, like Smriti Irani, I think, asked in one of the bites I saw yesterday, that is Congress backing the TMC in such a manner in a violent election, So, though Adhir Ranjan you met, and obviously he has things to say against Mamata Banerjee.
He is very aggressive on the ground. I'll have to give it to him. But after all, it's a question of his territory. The Congress has to survive there and has to do well there because the Lok Sabha elections are coming up.
That also brings us to the larger opposition unity question. The next meeting on 17th in
17
Bangalore
and 18, yeah.
is coming in Bangalore, and Aam Aadmi Party may not come if
May
the
not come, but
Congress.
Sonia Gandhi is going.
Okay.
So that's interesting because what is UPA without her? So there was this feeling felt that a gravitas which can be brought by, say, Sonia Gandhi was not being able to be brought in by, say, Jairam Ramesh or Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge or Rahul Gandhi because of her seniority and the fact that he has a huge successful experience as far as coalition
Is concerned. Absolutely. And she showed it in 2004 when Mr. Vajpayee lost the election. And that is very significant. Sonia Gandhi going because I think the contours of that opposition unity now need to shape up because we have four
This is going to be a very critical meeting.
Critical meeting with 4 important state elections are coming on. The larger formula which the opposition has been trying of one candidate for one seat in maximum Lok Sabha constituencies against the BJP. It is easier said, than done. And how will the opposition come in, especially in key states like Bengal, key states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, where there are Congress is competing with many regional parties in state elections and otherwise. How do they arrive at a formula? Bihar I think is easier because Bihar, these parties are already in an alliance. The RJD and the JDU and the Congress. But in other states, there is no formal alliance between these parties. How do you drive up, like for example, a Bengal, how all 3 parties are separate. Congress is separate, TMC is separate, left is separate. How do you bring these married kind of forces together? Will the cadres of these parties accept such an alliance?
But 18th is also the big NDA meeting. It's going to be interesting because Praful Patel and all are going to be there.
Yeah.
Do you think chances Akali Dal plus TDP?
It could happen. I think the BJP has been desperately trying to bring its former allies on board. Now, be it Chandrababu Naidu, be it now the NCP of Ajit Pawar, or be it the Akali Dal, though Akali Dal has clearly denied that any kind of talks are happening with the centre. But there is a lot of buzz about Sukhbir Badal or Simrat Badal returning to the cabinet, about Chirag Paswan joining the cabinet, about Praful Patel maybe joining the cabinet, though I think Praful Patel would prefer to remain in the state. But still, there are a lot of buzz about it, which also brings us to that ever elusive question that when is the cabinet reshuffle happening?
कब होगा cabinet reshuffle?
हर हफ्ते हम कहते हैं cabinet reshuffle होगा, weekend निकल जाता है, cabinet reshuffle नहीं होता है.
Yeah, we get up in the morning and wait for that tweet to come in. Oh my God, today is going to be a cabinet reshuffle. That doesn't happen.
So maybe
So
I think the window is tomorrow. Maybe after the PM is leaving for France, and then there is a window of 3 days before the parliament session happens.
But they made all the appointments. The stress is clearly on organization and the election. So important appointments have been made.
The BJP has done its appointments. So all the important ministers are going to states, and they have been given organizational responsibilities in the state elections. But yeah, a larger, because I think to accommodate these allies, there needs to be some sort of a cabinet expansion. I think if it happens, Pallavi, it will be more like an expansion, not so much of a reshuffle to accommodate more allies into it. I think that will be the idea behind it. But we'll wait for it. Enough speculation on cabinet. I think everybody's doing it. So we'll refrain from saying more till it happens. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Circuit today. And we'll be back next week with more from the field of politics and policy.
And do give in your reactions also on our social media handles.